Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. We're going to continue now with our pairing videos, and today we are going to take a look at a really commonly kept spider, the Mexican Red Rump, or the Tliltocatl vagans. Now we got a number of females, and they're one of them popular spiders that whenever we buy in a collection, there's normally one or two in it, and so we've managed to accrue a couple of adult females. I think we got 4, 5. So we got a male, and luckily he don't mess about, and you'll see that in the video. He's a very confident spider, and he went straight in there and got the job done. So without further ado, let's go and have a little look and see what he got up to. Oh, here we are again. This time we are attempting to pair our Tliltocatl vagans, the Mexican Red Rump. Now these really are, in my opinion, an underrated spider. I think they are so nice, and also females, given time, actually grow to quite substantial size. They really are a big spider. Jet black with that lovely red rump. I mean, they are just exquisite spiders. Now, as you can see, there are males coming. You can see the tibial hooks on him. He looks a little bit of a scruff pot, I must say. He's been around. We've got a number of female vagans, and he's been trying his luck with a couple of them. They can be a little bit temperamental towards the males, and he has been chased off on a number of occasions. Doesn't seem to have dampened his spirit none. You can clearly see those hooks on the front legs. There they are. Notice the vibration. He's really pushing forward now. He's letting her know that he's there. She's showing nothing at the moment, but you can bet she can feel every tiny little thing that he's saying. If only we could tell what was going on. What is being said between these two spiders. Whoa, whatever it was, it done the trick. That's the kind of response we want to see from our females. With that response, she's letting him know that she's up for a little further conversation. There you go. Look at that for an exquisite spider. Now these guys make absolutely perfect spiders for beginners. Very easy to care for. There she goes. Now one thing I will say for the vagans is they do differ immensely from individual to individual. We've had some that have been very docile, others that have been incredibly defensive. All of them can be a little skittish. You see our male there? Look at that, he's vibrating like mad. That will be carrying through that plastic enclosure. I would imagine it probably feels, you know, what we would class as really loud to that female spider. You notice he's getting a little closer all the time. He's come back down now, so he's on her level. Still getting the response from her that we want. Absolutely perfect. Oh, now she's turned. You notice how he changes a little bit now? You notice there was a little bit of shaking of the legs then, a little bit of tapping of the legs. He's backing off a little bit, but he's still communicating. You see this? Look. He's now up the tempo a little bit. It's a little bit more forceful. You can see that tibial hook clearly now on that leg. Really quite large on these guys. Oh, excuse my my phone. We sometimes get our best photographs when we are pairing our spiders, because they're so in tune with what they're doing, they're not taking any notice of us. Now we can see our female in all of her glory. Absolutely beautiful. You notice how she's laying very flat to the floor. Many of them sit up more upright stance. These guys almost spread themselves out, laying flat to the floor. You notice we still not actually had contact. It's getting close. He's still not 100% convinced that she's telling the truth. Does she want to play or does she want to eat? This is the question. He's slowly edging forward. You can see there with that frantic leg movement. Ooh, so close, so close. Here we go, here we go. There you go. You see we've made contact. Ooh, both partners backed off a little bit there. We need her to respond again. Here she goes. You see that? She goes, that little tiny thing that invited him in. Here he comes. He's still taking his time. We have to be very careful when we start to move the enclosure. That is situated on our Lazy Susan, our turntable. Found this to be an absolute godsend when we're pairing our spiders. Here we have contact now. You notice he's quite refrained, he's quite gentle. She's gone straight up. This is looking really good. You can see there he's just positioning himself, but he's not really trying. He's not looking for that epigastric furrow yet. Here we go, he's pushed her up. That's it, that's insemination. We've got her now. Look at that. I mean, he's practically laying her down on her back. He's got insemination there and he's got a good grip. She's going nowhere. Absolutely perfect. Oh, look at this. Have you ever seen anything like that? Look at that. He's literally laid her on her back and he's still got the grip. He's inseminated. Whoa, whoa, and he's out of there. Now you can see how the temperament changes so fast. She literally chased him out. There he is, safe and sound. This is the important thing about having him on the desk. There you go, he's cleaning up his pedipalps now. His job is done. Such a little trooper, this male. I say he's been in and visited a few now, and I think he's getting it down to a fine art. There she is. She's probably thinking, if only I was a little quicker, I would have had him. Get some focus on the camera. There we go. Look at that black on those legs. Absolutely stunning. So that is her successfully inseminated. So now, all there is now is to wait and see what happens. What a really, really cool piece of footage. Good job. Now we're just trying to actually walk her backwards into her enclosure. Get her back in there. There we go. Get her over nice and gently. You see we're getting no aggression there. Nice and gently. Put her back. Then we can get the lid on her. And then what we will do, we'll quite often now, we'll give them a couple of hours. Top up their water bowl. Throw a roach in there. And she'll probably feed. Oh, look at that. There was a schoolboy error there. We should have had the edge of the box that was closest to the edge of the table lower. So learn from that. That was a schoolboy error. There's our male secured, ready to meet another lady of his dreams. Well done, fella. Well then, as promised, he didn't mess about, did he? Now you would have noticed there, compared to some of the other pairings we've had recently, this one there was a lot of communication. He was constantly on the go. He was either vibrating or he was tapping or doing both. You know, he really did put himself out there. And at first she didn't take a lot of notice, but then you see the whole tempo change and then she started to respond back. So it was very cool. And you would have seen by the time they'd actually got round to doing the foreplay, shall we say, and they actually made contact, it took no time at all, and he literally got a hold of her. And you would have seen there how when they inseminate, how they pull the abdomen towards them, towards themselves, and it literally bent her in half. She was literally doubled in half and pulled through. She had no option to do anything whatsoever. And I think even if she had tried to retaliate, I think he had such a grip of her, and he is a strong spider. He literally dominated that whole situation. So there was no messing around whatsoever. Now, like I say, I don't think we'll bother pairing that female again. I think we're going to stick with that one, and we'll try him again with another female. And we'll say we have got a number of them, so we're going to give them all a go and see what happens. I think we did pair one last year, but nothing came of it, and she unfortunately molted out before a sack was produced. Talking of molting out, you would have remembered when we paired our king baboon, that big female. Unfortunately, she molted out on Christmas Day. So not quite the Christmas present we were hoping for. And also as well, our male has passed as well. He's done his time. So we are on the lookout for a king baboon male. She is obviously now freshly molted, so she's ready to go. We just got to try and find a male now. Now, this is one of the things that when we're pairing our spiders, we have to deal with. And sometimes it doesn't matter how well we try and do the feeding and the conditioning and everything else. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Now, when we purchased that female king baboon, we were led to believe that she'd recently molted and recently been paired. So it was a case of like, well, you know, I take it all with a pinch of salt. The fact that she only fed twice while she was with us, she had 2 good sized meals, would suggest that she hadn't molted out. She'd been a long time before she'd molted. They're not the quickest to molt out for them spiders. They do tend to go a long time, especially when they're adult, between molts. So she's molted now. Another one that's molted out as well is our Biroops. We was waiting on a sack with her. She's molted out as well. So that's rather frustrating. We don't have a male for that either. So we're on the lookout for one of those as well. So she's ready to go. What else have we got? Oh, yeah, this is, we had our female geniculata. Look at that. She molted out. Now, interestingly enough, this sort of beggars the question about molting in general. Now, you'll see here, this is an absolutely perfect molt. Perfect molt. And she molted out in a Braplast style box. Only a 9-litre one. So it's not a particularly big one. She is in fact around about 7.5 inches in diameter there. And she molted out in that box with nothing in there but a water bowl. Now, we often hear stories of bad molts and what went wrong. And sometimes, you know, people put it down to them being too dry, could be too wet, it could be too cramped, it could be a whole host of different reasons. But it really interested me to see that this girl molted out in a bare box. All she had was a little bit of very thin layer of substrate like that on the bottom, and a water bowl. That was it. In actual fact, the water bowl was dry, so there was no moisture coming from the water bowl at all, which reinforces what I've said many, many times. A successful molt is coming from a successfully hydrated spider, not the external surroundings. Yeah, the surroundings around them does not affect. You often hear of when a spider is going into a molt and it might be taking a little bit of time, people start spraying them and boosting the humidity. Not a good thing. Really isn't a good thing. They've got everything they need internally. A spider molts internally. Yeah, everything is there. So it was an interesting thing that it molted out in a bare box. You quite often say to people they need this, that, and all the rest of it. All they need to do is be able to lay that web mat on the floor, and she can flip over and do the job. And it was an absolutely fantastic molt. In actual fact, I'll get her down and you can have a quick look at her. So we'll see her in all of her glory. Now, when we look at these spiders, she is literally in this box. This is just a temporary thing for her, and she is due to be moved over, but we're thinking I want to get her back into her big old enclosure. Well, there she is in all her glory, and this is her setup. Nothing major, but this is what we call a maintenance enclosure. So we can literally just maintain her, we can keep her healthy and fit and everything else, and it's perfectly fine. You can see there she is in absolutely beautiful condition. So she's another one that will be looking for a male, and we will look at pairing her again. Now, we had an egg sac off her about 2 years ago. She produced about 2,500 slings. Huge sac. And we have paired her previously as well. And one time she produced a sac and then ate it after about a week. And another time she's molted out. So we're never 100% sure what's going on. This has all happened when she was in her bigger enclosure, obviously. Now, just out of interest, if you are preparing to breed your spiders and you want to have a go at breeding, although this enclosure here is fine to maintain this spider, not for the rest of its life, it's going to be a short-term thing, but a short term can be a couple of months. It's not a big deal. But if you then want to try and pair this spider, I would not attempt to pair her in this enclosure because it is way too small. We are probably going to end up with a damaged spider or a dead male. So before this girl is paired again, she will be placed into a larger enclosure to actually do the pairing itself. Now, that could be an enclosure that we set up just purely for that, which we have done in the past, where what we do is we take our female out, we put her in the new enclosure. She'll be left in there for a week to web up and get herself comfortable. Then we introduce the male. We get our pairing. If it's a really good one, we might just rest at the one pairing. If we're sort of on the fence with it, we think, right, he needs to have another go. We'll leave her in there, wait for him to make a sperm web. This can literally be 24 hours, or it can be a week. You never know. Some are quick, some take their time. As soon as he's done his sperm web, we will put him back in again. We will get that second pairing. Then, if needs be, we will take that female out of that enclosure, put her back into a maintenance enclosure where it's a bit smaller. But if it's a burrowing spider, we will give more depth for the soil, just so that she can burrow down, get under a piece of cork bark or whatever, and get some security like that. That's an important thing when we're trying to get an egg sac. They must feel secure. So we can breed them and get egg sacs in small enclosures like this, but don't attempt your pairing because it will probably go wrong because there just isn't space for our male to do his thing and escape. You'll often see with when we're pairing them on here, and you would have seen with the vegans that we've just watched, that our male, he literally done it with them, they're in one of these Braplast tubs. So they're very shallow, and our male can literally just flip out the side. He's gone in an instant. He's vanished. So it's not so bad. It's a smaller spider as well than this girl. But we give them the freedom of the desk, and he can run off and do his own thing. Doesn't matter if he disappears. We will catch him up later on. It's not a problem. More important, we save his life and then spend 10 minutes looking for him under the desk. It's not a problem. Much better he survives. Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video and little impromptu look at our geniculata. She is absolutely fabulous. Still one of my favourite spiders. Right then, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you again soon, guys.